Sir. Well, good evening, brothers and sisters. Alive from Saigon. It's now. Or in Saigon. They call me Rodney Josephson, as I've told many times. Of course, that's the name they gave me, and that's what I use. Is it etymologically correct? Well, the meaning is eagle tree. Yes, I'm an eagle tree. Anyway, that's another story. I've already discussed that in other videos. So let's get into meat and potatoes, shall we? Okay, so tonight, from the beautiful garden here, the box, Demi urge, or Demi. It's the two parts of the same of the word demiurge, but we're starting with Demi, subdividing into the abyss. Now, what am I driving at here? Well, that's what we're going to find out. Let's see if we can come to a conclusion in some respect. I think we will. From the whole into separation. So the whole is the whole perfect and complete. If we're going to consider the idea that everything is whole, perfect, and complete, the universe or God created everything whole, perfect, and complete. Spiritually speaking. And introducing the idea of like a duality in that regard or sense. So you would have the spiritual, and then you have the physical world, or the so-called three-dimensional world, the substance, the matter that has condensed into objects and things. So Demi means to divide a half. So if you had something that is whole, perfect, and complete, and then somehow it gets divided, it would then be half of what it was. And so that half is considered through Gnosticism a lower, this is my interpretation and my also experience in what it would be the frequency of which someone is emitting their whatever, if you want to think of their body, of their mind, of their thought processes and so forth. So this world, this man's world, as you would call it, is operating on let's say the dead man's language. So man's laws and laws that they have derived, or maybe laws or rules and codes that are very complex and have hidden or multiple meanings or the color, they're colored, multiple meanings. So it's a very complicated system that has been implemented and runs this world. And the question is, who is running the world? Well, of course, where each man is out doing his thing. However, the systems and structures are operating on some kind of a system that has been implemented and therefore controls various elements of this world. Yes. Now, maybe you've heard of the idea or the expression of a blockhead. You may call someone a blockhead. So here's Mr. Blockhead. Now, my interpretation of a block, a square, a cube, it's like a cell. You know, straight lines. It's square. There's no. It is not. It's not a circle or a ball or that type of shape. It's a square. It's like you walk into a square room, a cell. Okay? So you have 4 walls, floor, and a ceiling. And that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides if you're thinking of the inside. Yeah? And on the outside, if you're looking at it, it'd be something like that. So, I mean, it just looks like something that is not very creative and restrictive and lack of creativity, I think. But anyway, if you call someone a blockhead, that means they're kind of stupid or ignorant or they're probably introverted or they're not very creative in that sense. Maybe they're more engineer or logical kind of thing. There's a half brain, half. Okay. So again, Demi, divide into half. It's the Gnostics long ago. Well, there's no time. Anyway, long ago, formed the view that the Demi is a half spirit, or half there in their spiritual how would you want to describe that? In their spiritual concept of existence, I guess I put it like that. So the demiurge, the urge. Now I'm leading up to what this is meaning. So demiurge. So it means to press hard, force, to bind, to tie. So if we're thinking of like matter, you have the atoms, protons, neutrons, and so forth. So the more compact they are, the more solid the object is. So like lead or gold are very compact and heavy, right? And some steels and other metals can be very heavy. They're and strongly bound together, the atoms, protons, and neutrons. So yes, everything is vibrating at its own rate. That is correct. And everything has an energy or an energy field. And everything is God in that sense of all the elements are of God, or God is the element, yes? If you want to think of it that way. So the demiurge has divided the sense of being one with all creation and made its own subdivision in an attempt to be separate from that more open, higher level consciousness or spirituality, let's say. So I have here an arrow. So going up, light and open, going down, heavy and dense. So in Gnosticism, a flawed demiurge. So I have written here that, again, I read it too small. Creator of material world. So this world is, from this way of thinking, is the creator of the material world, the materialistic world. So someone who is heavily into the materialistic concept is separate from, perhaps, from the spiritual concept. They may think they are separate from everything. So it becomes more dense. And more complicated. So the rules and the substances and how the things are derived are denser, more complicated. Okay. You can see it in older architecture and modern architecture as an example in the physical, right? So if you go to cities or cities that are 500 years, 800, 1,000 years old, or even older, you'll see that the architecture is much different. Maybe it's more spacious, not square. It's more maybe roundish, domes, round rooms. Today, what do you have? I don't know. I just see boxes. There are boxes on boxes. Where's the creativity there? And what happens when you're inside of a box? I think there's an acoustic and an energy trap. Yeah, of course there must be, because you're operating in this fixed, straight line, square box. I don't see anything in nature that is square. Well, other than man-made objects. We can give another example of what I'm deriving this idea of this message tonight. Compartmental or compartmentalization. Compart is a piece. Meant, mind. Compartmental is the mind is compartmentalized. Because mental is mental, isn't it? A compartment is a compartment, a box, okay? Yes, there are memories. That is you can think of that as a file. Is it a box? Is a context of something, but are there distinct edges and a square box that it's in? Well, no. Not in the way I know it. So if you have an organization, a company, a big company, what do they have? They have different organizational charts. This might be the management, leadership, and then you have marketing, finance, accounting, payroll. And each department, remember, scaling down, it does its own thing. And this department doesn't really know what that department does. And likewise, this one doesn't know what that one does, really. So they're operating independently of each other, just doing their thing, following the plan, the flow maybe the guys at the top know what's going on, but maybe they don't do that job, so they don't know that job in detail. Especially in big companies. If you're in a small company, like I've owned, operated, and ran small companies, and also worked in big ones. So, of course, as a small owner and operator, you did all the jobs and all the roles, and then you then gave out that work to someone else. Did I have like 10, 20 people in each department? No. So everyone kind of knew what everyone was doing, because we all had to do in the same office, 1 or 2 rooms, 3 rooms. So we're all together. We know what we're all doing in a certain way. But some had more specified activities going on. So basically, separation and division. And the bigger the company, the more separation and divided and subdivided it becomes. It gets lower and lower and denser, and no one knows really what's going on in the upper levels of the organization, because it's been designed that way. So it's like it's the living demiurge in that sense. So the free-thinking man or the employee doesn't have that opportunity to know, to see, and therefore the whole perfect and complete being, or the or the body in function in man's world is not there. It's subdivided. In science, they like to cut things into pieces, make it smaller and smaller and smaller. They don't know the whole. They just, if you have an ailment, they'll fix the ailment, or they'll try to do that with drugs or maybe operation. But the reason why this is doing something here might not be that. It might be something over here that's causing that. And so they don't connect the dots. So that's the subdivision, the blockhead. So that's basically what I'm explaining here in this video, is that the blockhead is the idea is that the organization or man or the being has limited access because of the structure that's been formed in his or her brains and also in his or her environment. So the average man working in a big company, obviously, or smaller companies, in schools, going to schools in boxes, subdivided. All subject matters are separate. So they're brainwashed in that system of subdivision, separation, and they're living in that. So your apartments and houses are all boxes. When people die, they put them in a box. So, in some religions, they have this strapped on their head. They have a box on their head. Or they march around the box. I'm not going to mention these things. I think you should know if you understand. In the spiritual world, they also talk about Saturn, this cube. Oh, it reminds me of a company called NVIDIA. They have a cube. Now, again, whose rules and whose God are people praying to? Who are they? That man or being. Yes, there's good and bad, if you want to look at it that way. Yes, you can lift man up, or you can put man down. I choose the lift man up approach, because I could do the other way too, put him down. So if you know your power, then you can put them in the boxes. if you want. Get it so dense, so low, that you control the world that way. Pain and suffering. You can do it the other way. Happiness, joy, peace. You got the power, brothers and sisters. So I'm going to end it on that, because I have another video after me. So, go up, light, it's open, free. If you go down, it's heavy, dense, and complicated. So choose the right way. That's my suggestion, but it's up to you. So thank you, brothers and sisters, alive from Saigon. I'll see you next time. If you need any information, please drop me a line. Ciao.